G'day, John Wayne Legg from Australian Real World Combat and AntiRapeTactics.com. Now this is a quick video for both males and females. It's applicable to all of us. What is the number one rule of real fighting? Now some may say that the number one rule is to make sure you keep your hands up to protect yourself, protect your head, protect the brain. Others might say that the number one rule is to be aware of your environment, what's going on. And while I agree with both of those, they're both really awesome things to keep in mind, I want you to think about this thing, or this one thought. The number one rule of real fighting, there is no bloody rules. It's not a sport. There's not going to be a referee there keeping an eye on this fight. They're not going to be able to throw in the towel. You're not going to have someone in your corner there to coach you when you can't remember what to do. If you are getting choked or someone's trying to arm bar you and break your arm, you can't tap out. If they've got accomplices, whether if you're a female and there's 2 or 3 guys trying to sexually assault you, or if you're a guy and there's 5 guys they're beating up on you, there's no rules against that because it isn't a competition. It's not dirty fighting because that's just real fighting. I'm not saying it's fair, but life isn't fair. Life's never fair. If they pull out a weapon, you're wrestling around with them on the ground, you've gotten on top of them in a mount position, maybe if you've got some grappling experience, and he manages to pull out a knife and he starts stabbing you in the inside of the thigh while you're trying to grab his arm and armbar him. Nothing against that. There's no rules against it because there are no rules in a real fight. And we need to keep that in mind. And it's great to practice all our different martial arts, but we need to do some training in real fighting, real self-defense as well. So how should that logically translate? Well, we need to prepare for a chaotic and messy, brutal situation because that's what a real fight is going to be like. Doesn't need to be clean. You don't need to have perfect execution of technique. You just need to make sure that you stop your attacker hurting you. It doesn't matter what else is going on. Nothing else matters. All that matters is that you survive and you get out of there with as much intact as you can. So in practicing for a chaotic and violent environment, that should also mean that what we're using to counter should also be violent and extremely brutal, because all this fancy non-violent stuff where the attacker doesn't really get hurt and you gently control them, that only works in the movies. Even security and bouncers in pubs and bars, they struggle to control and manipulate the people they're trying to, people that are drunk. And usually it ends up being 2 or 3 people controlling one person. Not to say that you can't do it, it can happen, but we do not want a percentage chance of success if we're trying to survive. We want to make sure we survive. So have a think about that. If you're not, or you haven't already done some training that prepares you for extremely brutal and chaotic environment, maybe consider doing some training like that. If you're a female, I've got a link down below for you to download a free ebook on 5 keys to avoid rape. If you're a guy or a female, hook up with our Facebook page, which is Real World Combat on Facebook. And stay tuned for more videos on tips and advice on how to prepare and how to be ready for this chaotic and violent environment in a real fight. But remember, the number one rule of real fighting is there are no bloody rules. Alrighty, have a great day. Stay safe.